I have some things that are annoying at me. You can tweet us at AMC Talking Dead. Email us your questions at talkingdead@amctv.com. Or just pick up the phone and call us toll free at 1-855-332-3548. That's 1-855-DEAD-LIVE. Joining us now are Scott Ian, Dana Gould, and Greg Nicotero. First of all, well done directing tonight's episode, Greg Nicotero. After I watched the episode, I texted you. I was like, what the F and S? And then there were a couple C's in there and an A word. Like, I went bananas. And I've been on Reddit, I've been on Twitter. People are losing their minds. What was the biggest challenge tonight in directing Dale's final scene?
I'll tell you, I'm so delighted. I mean, I haven't been able to talk about it for 6 months. I mean, we shot in October. One of the funny things is you met Jeff Damon at the premiere of The Walking Dead here in LA. And Jeff walked over and went, hey, so tomorrow we're going to go back and shoot my death scene. And Dana was like, I was not supposed to hear that. So I went, oh yeah, Jeff. But listen, you know, I mean, Jeff Damon I've known for years and years. He's such a great friend and was really delighted when, you know, the way they hand out the episodes is that you just get a number. Like, I didn't know what episode I was going to get. You're going to do number 211. I went, oh, okay. And then as the script started coming in, and Angela Kang, who did an amazing job on our script, when I got the episode, they're like, you're going to direct the episode that we have to kill Dale. And I'm like, I'm going to kill the nicest guy in the world who's my friend and deal with the emotion of him leaving the show and how all the other actors...
Not just kill, like gut.
But that's what's amazing, and this is a little awkward because we're friends. Like, gonna be blowing smoke. But this episode and last week, I feel like the show has really transcended and is really moving up into, like, it's getting to a Battlestar Galactica area where it's actually greater than the sum of its parts and is actually transcending the genre. And Greg, who's, you know, comes out of special effects, people would naturally assume he would be a great horror director, but no, this is just great drama. You did an amazing job. There's not a false beat in the episode, and you're just a great director, and you should really own that. It was amazing.
Scott, how are you feeling after tonight's episode? I mean, Dale Horvath was really, in my estimation, the last connection to the previous civilization before.
And that's why I said he had to go. He's dangerous. He's putting all the rest of them in danger. He keeps preaching humanity, but you got to let go of that. There is no more humanity at this point. I think holding on to that, you're just endangering yourself and everyone else around you.
All right, so we have so much stuff to go through tonight. There was a Randall storyline. There was a, but there's a question from Twitter. Dale says, keeping our humanity as a choice. Did humanity get eviscerated in that field? Is it just gone now?
No, it is. And sort of the grand drama, like Dale is Piggy in Lord of the Flies. He's the moral voice, and he has to die. But what defines humanity is that someone else will rise up. In the natural yin and yang of human behavior, someone will rise up to take his place.
It was just that line where he says to Shane, you know, where Shane says, I wasn't going to do this. You know, it's not going to change the group if we kill the other group if we kill this guy. And then Dale says, yeah, but you know, what's it going to do to us? It's going to change us. I think we have a caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Brandon. I'm calling from Goldsboro, North Carolina.
You sound sad. We're all sad. Are you okay? What's happening with you? Do you need help?
How many pills did you take, Brandon?
What's your question?
Mine's actually for Greg.
Okay.
In the last scene where Dale was attacked by the zombie, what were his guts actually made out of?
No, that's not what I was expecting from a sad little boy on the other end of the phone. I just have one question. Why were the guts?
But that's a very good question, because one of the things that was always important as an effects guy is to make everything as authentic as possible. We shot that as an insert, and we used real chicken breast that my makeup effects guys Jake Garber and Kevin Wisner and Andy picked up, and we had a silicone stomach, and when we tore it open, we had a little 8x8 soundstage with all the grass on it because we went back and shot the actual ripping, and there was a silicone skin with real chicken breast and chicken skins underneath it and pumping blood. So you see that little glimmer of like internal organs, and it really sort of reads real. I mean, the zombie Kevin Galbraith, who played that zombie, did such a great job. He'd been in a couple other episodes, and he was in the episode where the zombies are attacking outside the bar. I saw him. I'm like, dude, you gotta. How
did he tear? Like, what was the science in your mind of like how does he tear into a living person's stomach?
Well, he was clawing at him and ripping at him, and then you know, with the idea that zombies have really bony fingers and their fingernails are kind of glowing.
Because there's like decaying.
He was sort of scratching at it and clawing at it. But you know, one of the things, if you look at that zombie a lot, he never blinks. Like his eyes were always so wide. The guys that did the makeup on him did a great job. And my editor Julius Ramsey, who cuts a lot of the other episodes, we really made a point of making sure that we never saw that zombie blink. So he always looked like this sort of weird screaming skull with these great.
I think it would be great if when the zombies are killed, they're allowed to say what they did in life. Like that's the only time they can talk. So I was a dentist.
I like those shoes. Like those are great shoes.
I understand about.
I never did anything about life. Exactly. A lot of the chat on TalkingDead.com tonight was about Carl telling Rick to shoot Randall. So our whole question is, what should Rick have done when Carl walked in as he was about to execute Randall? Shoot Randall in front of Carl, tell Carl to leave and then shoot Randall, let Randall live and then lock him back up, or shoot Shane. Why not? Why not? You want to see that coming? Go to TalkingDead.com to vote. Coming up, footage of me, Chris Hardy, being transformed into a zombie by this guy, Greg Nicotero, was amazing. But first, we lost a really good friend tonight, and I don't want to take that lightly. It is time to say final goodbye to a wonderful character. Let's take a look. Welcome back to Talking Dead. I'm Chris Hardy. I'm back with Scott Ian, Dana Gould, Greg Nicotero, who won a Writers Guild Award, by the way, for the Walking Dead webisodes on AMCTV.com, starring one and only Scott Ian over there as a zombie. I know this was a lifelong dream of yours to become a zombie.
Yeah, I've been waiting ever since I saw Dawn of the Dead in the theaters. I've wanted to do it. I kept the makeup on all night. Like went home, fed my 3-month-old at the time with the makeup on, and finally right before bed decided I should shower and get it off.
We actually have a photo of you as a zombie from the webisode. Look at that, zombie Scott Ian.
I kind of wish I still had it on, actually.
I think I might know somebody that we could probably look at. It was funny that he literally, we shot over a 2-day period, and he came up to me and said, can I wear this home because I want to feed my baby with it? And I went, oh, okay. Like, he was really excited.
You've been through the process too. Actually, you have your own action figure now. You are a zombie fighter. This is actually Greg Nicotero. You've got fighting action. Look at this. I got this guy right here. Can you get a close up on this guy? You look like Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie. Dracula.
There's another very quick Greg Nicotero claim to fame. In season 13 of The Simpsons, in the episode Homer the Moe, which is the first one that I wrote, Greg is Cecil, the doorman at Moe's.
Oh, I totally know that character. Homer the Moe. Yeah.
So I have a Simpsons character, and now I have a toy. And literally my toy will fight the Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, Shaun of the Dead toys.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
So that'll be like my next movie will be all the zombie toys.
Nerd conversation.
So you're gonna get so late after the show. So late.
What's the noise? Women changing the channel.
Oh, that's all the overreach drag up. Earlier this week, Greg and his team came to the Talking Dead studio and were kind enough to turn me into a soulless corpse as well. Take a look. This was so amazing. Hey guys.
Hey, what's going on?
How's it going?
How are you? Welcome.
Hi.
Andy Schoenberg, Gary Nimmel.
Nice to see you.
The guys, of course, are with me and Georgia when we shoot the show, so they've collectively done 800 zombie makeups each. So this will be 801. What the guys are going to do is they're going to put a ball cap on Chris, they're going to put silicone prosthetic around his eyes, and then glue a bunch of decomposition rot bites around the top of his head, one side of his head. They'll blend them off, and then they'll paint the whole thing to make it look like he got into some altercation with a walker.
I got up back there. Oh my god.
Listen, one of the notes I always give all the performers is like, keep the chin down and kind of, you know.
I am a zombie. Is that good?
They'll put eyebrows on, they'll glue some hair on it, paint his teeth, and then put contact lenses in, which will be the last step.
I'm a walking dead walker. Someone high five me. I can't see anything.
We need a little bit of mouth rinse to blacken your tongue. You know, one thing a lot of people don't really realize is it's not all about what they look like. It's about how they perform.
I'm beautiful. You can't. What you don't realize is like when you had to put those contacts in for me, and they cover up all of the visible part of your eyeball, and you can't see anything. And when light hits it, it diffuses it. So you really do kind of walk like a zombie because you can't see anything. But thank you so much.
I spent like 20 minutes explaining to you how little you'd be able to see. And you're like, why are you making such a big deal of it? And then we put the lens in, like, okay, right.
Yeah,
you're walking around.
You can't see anything. That was so amazing. Thank you. So a dream come true for me as well. Don't forget to go to TalkingDead.com to vote in our poll. We'll be right back with more of Scott, Dana, and Greg right after this. Sunday, there is a new Talking Dead live at midnight Eastern right here on AMC, so check it out. I'm back. Of course, with Scotty and Dana Gould and Greg Nicotero. We have a caller. What is your name and where are you calling from?
This is Yaz from Chicago.
Hey, man.
First of all, I just want to say you guys are doing an amazing job. Keep doing what you guys are doing. Me and my family love the show. And I just had a question. Carl's actions led to Dale's death. How will this affect Carl?
Well, I can't even imagine what it must be like. There's a lot of anti-Carl sentiment, right? I was on the Walking Dead subreddit. People were like, Carl, you killed Dale. I mean, like, I don't know what they expect. This kid is growing up in this world.
Yeah.
He's going to end up being a sociopath, I think.
Well, and I have to give a lot of credit. Chandler Riggs is so fantastic. What I was really excited about this episode was everybody had a lot of good stuff to do.
Yeah.
And Chandler, one of the fun things about it was the scene where he comes into the shed and is sitting there kind of just creepy, looking down at Randall and not saying anything.
Yeah.
That was an idea that I had early on with Angela, because the idea that he's sort of poking, he's got the stick and he's poking the bear in the cage, and then Shane grabs him, takes him out, and is like, what's the matter with you? And so of course he's sort of been he's been embarrassed in front of other people in the group. So when he goes into the woods and he sees the zombie in the woods, he's actually he has something to prove, which I think is what's great
that's
about
what
it.
kids do. They constantly test boundaries. He's surrounded by all this chest-beating male energy in this world where the moral and ethical axes are completely on end. Of course, I think he's doing exactly what a kid in that situation
Are we talking
would
about George W. Bush or this show?
We're talking about Carl.
Oh.
Even the scene where we had a great little moment where Carl's going through Daryl's camp and he walks up to the motorcycle and he grabs the handles and he like revs it for a second before he goes through the saddlebags. And I thought I had him do that because I thought it was a cool little thing for a kid to do.
Sure.
And then 2 seconds later he grabs a gun out of the saddlebag. So it's interesting that he's really trying to stretch his boundaries. And of course, there's always these scenes where Rick's like, oh, where's Carl? And nobody ever knows
They
where
can't always
he
watch
is.
him.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about Randall. This is for you, Scott. Bobby L from Facebook. Do you believe that Randall had nothing to do with the attack on the daughters? There is something so effed up going on with that guy. I don't even know what his story is, but there's something going on with him.
Randall's Ben Linus.
Yeah, he's totally Ben Linus. Totally Ben Linus.
And Glenn, who obviously watched Lost before everything went to hell. Right. He should know this.
He's the guy that coach's like, no, please, I'm totally helpless. And then the second they turn their back, he's going to do
He's
something
Ben
horrible.
Linus. He's got to go. So Rick made a fatal mistake by not putting him.
You think so? Could you have shot the guy in front of your kid?
When the zombies come, you're either with them or against them. And
I love kind of watching this sort of, like the tether to the previous sort of civilization, and Dale kind of touched on this, is just totally eroding. Even this kind of like mock trial thing that they had, super like 12 Angry Men sort of thing.
no,
you know?
Daryl has it wired for me. To me, he's the one. He's completely self-sufficient. He said himself he'd probably be better off without the rest of them.
Yeah.
Like he's the one who's got the right mindset. That's who should be leading.
And he's like the enforcer now. I mean, that's the thing about Daryl.
Well, yeah, he takes the gun, and then when Dale like puts his head up to the.
Great. I mean, Jeffrey DeMunn, God, he just did such an amazing
We'll get to that.
job.
We'll get to more of that in the next segment. Coming up, we're going to reveal the result of tonight's poll. We're going to show you an exclusive clip from next week's episode of The Walking Dead. But first, let's take a break from Throwing Rocks and Zombies to give you this week's Walking Dead buzz. That's great. Welcome back to Talking Dead. Okay, so the point you were making before we went to commercial was that scene ruined me inside when poor Dale like leaned his head up to touch the gun to Daryl.
That was a really emotional. We shot that over 2 nights, and everyone on the cast was in tears. I mean, Jeffrey was leaving the show, and it was really emotional. I mean, he did a fantastic job in that episode, and I was really proud. I was really proud to have worked with that cast because I know their characters, so I want to set with them every single day. Denise Huth and Tom Luce and I were there every day.
What were you saying about Daryl like sharpening?
Oh yeah, that was a great moment. You only see a quick shot of it when Dale screams. You see him in the shed sharpening his knife, and Randall's actually gagged and tied up, and his hands are over his head. And my intention always was to convey the idea that Daryl was about to kill him. He was just about to do what no one else could do because no one's around, and he's sort of like Rick's enforcer now. So I think he was just going to do it.
Oh my God! Tonight, I mean, I just can't even tell you what an amazing episode this was this week, and I got choked up watching it. I'm gonna be honest. When I texted swore at you, I was like, "Would you do this to me?" But let's move on because it is time for tonight's exclusive clip from next week's episode of The Walking Dead, which airs next Sunday at 9 Eastern. Check it out.
I wish I had something better to say, something more profound. My father was good like that. I'm tired, son. Please, take it.
What a hallmark moment.
If nothing bad can come from that.
If Rick can't pull the trigger anymore, is Carl going to be the new gun? What's going on?
He sure is.
From now on, call me by my full name, Lee Harvey. Okay.
I mean, does this seem like a natural progression of what would happen in this world? Like, well, he's got to learn how to do this.
Has to. He passed the test.
Yeah.
Well, or he didn't because he should have shot that zombie. Except he screwed it up. So now he's got a gun. Maybe
And now he has a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
He has so much to deal with. His character changed so much in this episode, Carl, because he directly felt the result of his actions of not killing that zombie and then losing Dale. So he's got a lot to deal with. But the results of the poll are in, and we asked you, what should Rick have done when Carl walked in as he was about to execute Randall? And the 30%, 42, shoot change. There we go. Well done, America. Well done, America. Are they watching the show? They're watching the show. Well, they have spoken. Thanks for watching Talking Dead. I'd like to thank Greg Nicotero, Dana Gould, who is at Dana J. Gould on Twitter, and Scott Ian at Scott_Ian. Interactive Level Worship Music is available now. Join us next week when we have Maggie from Walking Dead, Lauren Cohan, and from Chuck, Zach Levi. Please go to TalkingDead.com right now where the show continues streaming live. I'm Chris Hardwick at Nerdist. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week. So much to deal with tonight.